The president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on the 12th day of June 2023, signed into law what was known as the Student Loan Act. Sort of when it was a bill, it was a Student Loan Access to Higher Education Bill of 2023. So a bit about the act. So in 2019, the Speaker of the 9th House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, moved on the floor of the House of Representatives the bill that actually seeks to repeal other bills and establish what we have as a Student Loan Access to Higher Education Bill. And the bill has actually gone through both chambers of the National Assembly and was later concluded. And in late May 2023, that particular bill was actually passed by both houses of the National Assembly. Welcome to iMedia Podcast. This is a production of iMedia Digital Hub, and this is a place where we discuss everything around business and technology. My name is Shamsuddin Ahmed. Today, we're going to be looking at the newly signed Student Loan Act of 2023. So what are the intricacies? What are the things you need to know? What are the misconceptions generally that a lot of people are really talking about? And what are the things that is in for you, either as a student or also as a parent or as a concerned Nigerian citizen? Are you really qualified for this particular loan? So we're going to be delving into it in a moment. But before then, let's look at historically. Is the Nigerian system actually new to student loan? The answer is no. When we go historically, during the time of the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, in the 70s, we have what we call the Federal Student Loan Decree. And that particular decree make a provision for access to loan by Nigerian students. And that actually covers both tuition, their accommodation, everything they need as a student, even feeding. And that's the repayment time for that particular loan was 20 years. Then after that, because of bad debt, a lot of Nigerian students didn't actually refund that particular money. We now had what we call another act of 1991 under President Ibrahim Babangida. That particular one didn't actually sell through. Then we now have what we have the last time we had, and the one which currently had, which is not functional, is the Nigerian Education Bank Act of 2004. So this is actually the historical development of what we've actually had. So in earlier times, we've had a situation whereby provisions were made for Nigerian students under the law to loan and fund their education. But how far have we failed? We're going to be delving into it in a moment. So the new act will establish what we call the Nigerian Education Bank, which will supervise, coordinate, and administer and monitor the management of the student loan in Nigeria. So, and this particular bank is going to have a board, and the board is going to have a lot of people represented. We have the management, you have the managing director, the secretary, representative of the Ministry of Education, representative of ASU, representative of NUC, representative of the vice chancellors, and a host of other representatives. But one thing that particular act didn't actually bring forth is the fact that it didn't talk about the representative of the other higher institutions in Nigeria. So by higher institutions, according to the particular law, it gives us a notion that we are looking at both universities, polytechnics, and also colleges of education and monotechnics. Another thing that the law, which is the number 2 that we're going to be looking at today, is what exactly is the application process like. So the applicant will actually go through a screening process to be determined whether they actually meet the requirement for the law. So let's look at it. So there are a lot of screening methodologies that have actually been put in place. So the bank will actually is there. So you have to apply to the bank. And when you apply, you have to go through a lot of rigorous process. But one thing that the Act actually states is that between the time of application to the time at which you get that loan will be a period of 30 days. So you have to go through different screening process, and also you have to get your documents ready. So what are the things you need to get as a student? So before you apply, you must be a registered, you must be a Nigerian, of course, and you must be a Nigerian studying in Nigeria. And not only studying in Nigeria, you'll be studying in a public higher institution in Nigeria. So for you to be qualified. So you'll be studying in a public higher institution in Nigeria. So private higher institutions are not qualified for this particular loan. And not only that, we have other criteria. Some of the other criteria is the fact that your family or the person and the individual that is applying must be earning less than 500,000 per annum. So when you want to do the maths, you will be looking at maybe after every other cost, maybe the person is earning on an average of maybe a 15,000 naira per month. So for them to be qualified, that's another qualification. And after that, you also have to bring up a proof of your admission. So in this sense, we are looking at your admission letter or your offer letter. So those are the things you are going to be using to apply. So you have to be able to justify the fact that you are qualified for this particular act. So another thing that is also very important for you to note is you need 2 guarantors. And one of those guarantors must be somebody who is a federal government staff and to the level of a level 12 officer. And another one is, if you don't get that, you need somebody who is into law practice and between 8 to 7 years of law practice. So these are some of the people and some of the eligibility criteria you need to bring first before you actually qualify for the student's loan. So let's look at it. So the loan actually makes a provision for you to fund your education. So education-related matters, which include textbooks and research. And this, when a lot of people are talking about the tuition fee. Now, the tuition fee, according to the law as of today, we have it that the tuition fee in all public universities in Nigeria and higher institutions in Nigeria, it's free. So what you are paying for is the schedules of other fees, like for you to pay for your healthcare, your accommodation, your transportation, and all that. That is what they call it. So the Nigerian public universities, they don't call it tuition fee. They call it schedules of fees. So other things that need. But the main tuition fee, according to the law in Nigerian public higher institutions of today, the tuition fee is actually free. So you are going to university, colleges of education in Nigeria at no cost. So all other ones are just hidden charges that you have to pay for your education to move smooth. And that is what this particular act is going to be funding. So another thing that is also very important that we need to really look at is the fact that it is only accessible, like we said, to Nigerians studying in Nigeria. So if you're not studying in Nigeria, you're not going to be qualified for this. So now, after all this, what exactly is the way forward? So you are going to pay this loan back. So you are going to be paying it back when and how? So you're going to be paying it back 2 years after your NYSC. So for people that are just watching, the NYSC is in 1 year service period where you serve the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And it is called the National Youth Service Corps. And within this period, you're going to be paying back. You are not the one to pay back directly. Your employer is the one to pay back. You're going to be paying back only if you are self-employed. So it is expected according to this act, that you're going to be paying back at the time you're going to be paying back, rather, you are already you're already employed. So the addition and subtraction is 2 years after NYSC, you're expected to be paying back. How much are you going to be paying back? You're to be paying back 10% of the amounts. So the employer is going to be liaising with the bank, and at that particular time, you are going to be having a situation whereby you get the employer will now be deducting 10% of your salary to actually pay back the loan. And that's how it's going to go until you finish paying. So it's going to be an arrangement, an agreement until you're able to pay off the loan. Now, if you look at this, the intricacies of this particular act that will also maybe need a lot of legal interpretation is the fact that you have a situation whereby, let's assume that somebody got the loan when he was in 100 level as a 100 level student, and he went through a Nigerian university, for example, of a 4 years course, and hopefully there's not going to be more of ASU strike. You have a situation whereby the person spent 4 years in the university and has actually got that loan to that level, and he also had a service year of 1 year, making it what? 5 years. Then 2 years after, that's what? Another 7 years before he's able to pay back. So according to this particular act, with the interpretation, you have a situation whereby somebody had the leverage of getting that particular loan and paying back in 7 years' time. And he starts paying back rather, because he might not be able to pay back all. You never can tell how much the person will be able to have gathered within that period. Now, what the law says is the fact that immediately you've done that, you're going to be having a situation whereby if you refuse or you defaulted for not paying back the loan, you risk a jail term. So you risk a 2-year jail term, or possibly a fine of about 500,000 naira, or both, depending on the level of offense you actually committed, or the level at which you've actually defaulted. So this is something that is also very, very important that we need to know about the Nigerian Student Loan Act of 2023, which was being signed by the President of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So this and all are the content of it, and this is just a brief summary of what the Nigerian Student Loan Act of 2023 looks like. So I hope you got value from this video. I would like to get your reactions. We'd like to get your comments. We'd like to get your feedback on what you think, or what are the gray areas you felt with actually, what are the things actually that you feel that should have been covered in this particular act, or you feel is actually well perfect. We'd like to get your comment in the comment section, and definitely we'll be willing to react to it. Many thanks for watching today's episode of iMedia Podcast. My name still remains Shamsuddin Abdurrazak Girado. Bye-bye.